Kunal. Hi, morning. Well, the Gift Nifty is indicating a quiet start. Yesterday, the second half did turn out to be a little rough with private banks, autos and select heavyweights as well weighing heavy on the markets. Where do you think we're headed today?
Good morning, Aisha. So I think we should be more or less flattish on the indices today. The only concern which I have probably sort of on the markets today is because of the expiry. Because last time also I think last month when we had the monthly expiry that impacted the Nifty trend. It was almost like a 200 point kind of a trading day or a range day for the index on the expiry day, and we closed on the negative side. So that's the only concern, that the historical last one or two expiries markets have been a very volatile, and b the tendency of the markets to maybe sell off from the intraday highs has been a little bit more on the higher side. So that's the only concern which I have for the day today. However, I think over the last 7 or 8 days we've been just hanging around to this 24,000 mark for the Nifty. So directionally, if you ask me, I think for the next, say, another 3, 4, 5 days, I would sense that we could just about hang around to this 24,000 levels broadly, and no major signs of a uptrend or a downtrend emerging on the indices.
Sectorally, though Kunal, where is it that you see the flavor headed? Because yesterday, of course, because of all the news flow around, some of the top-level exits in private banks, they were the ones which were under pressure. Autos as well completely reversed the trend from where we left it off last week. Sectorally, does it seem like these two spaces could weigh heavy on the markets going forward too?
Yeah, Aisha. So I think the few selective private sector banking names, I would say auto stocks at large, because the larger cap heavy-weighted auto names, they are the ones which have been acting as a drag. In fact, we also did a relative strength study on the sectors, and the two underperforming sectors so far are the likes of Nifty IT, of course, for all the reasons we know, and the second is the CPSE index. Even the CPSE index, for example, over the last few days, indicates that there has been slight bit of sluggishness across majority of the PSUs. You can add the PSU banking lot to that particular category also. So many of these PSU stocks are also the ones which are lagging behind, and that's also one of the reasons why this sector has been underperforming. The ones which have started to show signs of some recovery, yesterday you saw metal stocks seeing slight bit of a bounce back, and then when you try and look at this in terms of the global asset class, dollar index ebbing off slightly from those 101.775 levels to slightly lower. So I would sense in that sense that maybe I think we are going through that juggle in terms of sectors. No consistency of sectors. I think except for pharma, you don't have too many sectors which you would want to rely on to. Maybe real estate is the other sector which has done very well for itself on a broader basis over the last 3, 6 months. But then I think other than that, you can't handily point out that which sectors are the ones which are very strong.
Kunal, your top picks, how should one play the market today?
So I'm going with a differentiated set of stocks today. Paytm is something which I would recommend as a buy. Now, apparently that stock is heading towards a breakout on the swing charts. And the last 1 or 2 days, there has been a slight pickup in terms of volumes. So I'm anticipating that hopefully post the expiry, the stock would probably start to show signs of a decent price up move and break past about this swing resistance on the back of higher volumes. Would suggest a target of 1175, stop loss to be kept at 1110. The second would be from the real estate pack, and very interestingly, Oberoi Realty has done very well for itself. The stock has confirmed a flag pattern breakout, closed above the 1700 mark, which has been a multiple swing resistance. So would look at a target of 1800, stop loss to be 1735.
Kunal, if you can you also take us through HDFC Bank as well? We've seen churn coming in there. You have now a chairman which has been appointed, Rajiv Kumar, former finance ministry official, and the former CEC as well. That brings in some certainty to the bank as well.
So it does, Sajid. But when I look at the volume candles and the price candles, it's hardly giving any kind of a major enthusiasm that the stock is heading towards any kind of a breakout. And I'll give you a very simple comparison. The rally or the market started to bottom out end of March. Somewhere HDFC Bank at the end of March was around 725, 730. Now, in a matter of 1 or 2 weeks post that bottom formation, the stock rallied up towards 820 mark, which was a decent 95 point jump for HDFC Bank. Now, in this leg of price recovery in the last 3-4 weeks, and especially on a day like yesterday, when the news flow was sort of indicative that the stock would come out of this ranged action, it was unable to surpass this level of 820 for HDFC Bank. So the most immediate resistance also on a day when the expectation is that the stock price will probably react on a positive side, it's unable to surpass that immediate resistance. That I think is a concern. And then the volumes for the stock yesterday were also on the lower side, slightly lower side as compared to the previous days of volume. So on the back of expiry, on the back of private sector banking stocks showing that slight bit of an underperformance, and specifically HDFC Bank within that pocket, and the immediate news flow and the resistance, even on such kind of scenarios, if the stock is unable to break past about those resistances, it tells you that that the stock inherently is not something which is more like a momentum as of now. So I would expect more of a consolidation for HDFC Bank and the stock to just about hang around to this 800 levels.
Okay. Let me, in fact, also go across to Mithali. There's been major changes, chop and change at the top for banks. But what we'll do is we'll take a bit of a pause, slip into a break, come back, speak to Mithali about some of those chops and changes at the top with regard to some of the banks. Stay with us. Some top private sector banks in focus this morning.